Chapter 3. The Elephant and the Mangoes. Know when to resign. In the heart of the savannah, a wise and hungry elephant came across a tall tree laden with succulent mangoes. The sweet aroma enticed the elephant, and he longed to taste the delectable fruit. However, no matter how much the elephant stretched his trunk and stood on his hind legs, the mangoes remained just out of reach. Frustrated and unable to grasp the tantalizing mangoes, the wise elephant took a moment to reflect. Instead of dwelling on his inability to savor the delicious fruit, he gracefully acknowledged the limits of his reach. Understanding that some things are beyond one's control, the elephant chose not to disparage the mangoes but, rather, to appreciate their sweetness from a distance. The animals of the savannah, observing the elephant's wisdom, learned a valuable lesson. The tale of the elephant and the mangoes became a reminder that it is wiser to accept the realities beyond one's grasp without diminishing their value. The savannah thrived as its inhabitants embraced the idea that not everything within reach is meant to be obtained, and true wisdom lies in appreciating the beauty of what is, even if it remains just out of reach. The thinking technique, know when to resign, can be metaphorically applied to the fable of the wise elephant and the mangoes in the following ways. 1. Assessment of limitations. The elephant, faced with the unreachable mangoes, engages in a moment of reflection, acknowledging the limits of his reach. This can be seen as a form of resigning to the reality that some things are beyond one's control. 2. Emotional resilience. Instead of persisting in futile attempts and becoming emotionally distressed, the elephant gracefully accepts the situation. This reflects the idea of knowing when to resign emotionally and redirecting one's focus towards a more constructive mindset. 3. Appreciating from a distance. The ultimate decision of the elephant to appreciate the sweetness of the mangoes from a distance can be interpreted as a strategic resignation. Rather than dwelling on the unattainable, the elephant resigns to the idea of enjoying the taste of the mangoes. 4. Wisdom and surrender. Knowing when to resign doesn't necessarily imply defeat but, in this context, demonstrates wisdom. The elephant's decision to resign from futile attempts aligns with the overall moral of the fable, understanding and embracing beauty in situations beyond one's immediate control. 5. Teaching a lesson. The fable, as a story, departs from the conventional notion that success is exclusively determined by reaching a particular objective. Rather, it embraces a more expansive viewpoint, imparting to the animals of the savannah the lesson that wisdom comes from recognizing when to acknowledge limitations and discovering satisfaction in attainable aspects. The thinking technique, know when to resign, can be applied to the fable by recognizing the wisdom in accepting certain limitations, emotionally resigning from unattainable goals, and finding alternative sources of fulfillment. True wisdom lies not only in the pursuit of goals but in the discernment to gracefully resign when faced with insurmountable challenges. Confucius. The quote and the fable of the wise elephant intertwine in meaningful ways. The discernment exhibited by the elephant in acknowledging physical limitations aligns with the quote's emphasis on understanding constraints. The concept of graceful resignation, seen in the elephant's choice not to persist futilely, mirrors the quote's call for acknowledging insurmountable challenges with grace. Both convey a message that wisdom transcends narrow goals and involves finding contentment in achievable goals, even if direct attainment remains elusive. The elephant's insight into the unattainable mangoes reflects the quote's recognition of facing challenges beyond immediate reach, urging adaptation and seeking alternative sources of satisfaction. True wisdom is not found in the conquest of every challenge, but in the grace to accept and find beauty in the unattainable. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Winning is great, sure, but if you are really going to do something in life, the secret is learning how to lose. Wilma Rudolph. Guard well what you possess and remember that losing sometimes is an inevitable part of winning. Kofi Annan. Knowing when to walk away is wisdom. Being able to is courage. Walking away with your head held high is dignity. It's not giving up. It's called moving on. Surrender to what is. Let go of what was. Have faith in what will be. Sonia Riccati. You can't start the next chapter of your life if you keep rereading the last one. Sometimes the best way to win is to not play the game. Giving up doesn't always mean you're weak. Sometimes it means you're strong enough to let go. It's okay to outgrow people who don't appreciate your growth. Never give up on a dream just because of the time it will take to accomplish it. The time will pass anyway. Earl Nightingale. Letting go means to realize that some people are a part of your history, but not a part of your destiny. Steve Maraboli. You've got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Kenny Rogers. The moment you realize you're not just surviving but thriving, that's when you'll know it was all worth it. Unknown. It's not giving up if you're choosing happiness over suffering. Sometimes the hardest part isn't letting go but learning to start over. Nicole Sabin.